Welcome to this lecture where I'll teach you how to arrange images quickly and efficiently. Photoshop is built for precision, so you should strive to have a pixel-perfect design every time. This of course means aligning elements precisely, but luckily we have many tools and features that help us do that. In this attached PSD, we have two active rectangles on our canvas and a third one hidden in the Layers panel. We'll use them to explore all of our options. First of all, we're going to talk about Smart Guides, which can be turned on from View, Show, Smart Guides. Now, if you're on the Move tool and grab one of the rectangles, you'll see some pink lines appear. Those are our Smart Guides, and they help you position everything precisely. You also sense the element wants to snap into place, and that's really helpful. If you want to try it, just make sure you have the Smart Guides active and you have two rectangles. Next, we have our guides. Keep in mind we talked about Smart Guides. The next ones are just called guides. To use them, you first have to press Ctrl-R. Right, on the top and left side, we have these measurements. They themselves are pretty useful, but you can go to the side, click, then drag, and you'll see this cyan line appear. Cyan, light blue, light teal, whatever you want to call it. Again, this snaps into place. For example, if I want to place it in the middle of the rectangle, all I have to do is make sure that layer is active in the Layers panel. Then, as I drag, you'll feel Photoshop nudge you to where the center is. This works both horizontally and vertically. This allows you to take all the guesswork out of it. If you want even more precision, you can go to View, New Guide. From here, you can specify exactly where you want your guide to be. Just put in a number and press OK. Great stuff. If you want to hide them to avoid distractions, press Ctrl:/, or you can go to View, Show, and here you can select Guides. Please also note that if you're on the Move tool, you may accidentally misplace a guide. As you can see, when I hover over one of them, the icon changes. For that, Photoshop offers the ability to lock your guides with Ctrl-Alt:. Now, no matter how much I hover over it, they won't move. They can still be hidden with Ctrl:/, but you can't move them by accident. When you want to unlock, just press Ctrl-Alt:. again. Finally, let's talk about this section up top next to the Show Transform controls. These are the alignment tools, and they help us arrange things fast. The alignment tools always need at least two elements selected in order to make an adjustment. Here, when we have only one layer selected, all tools are closed because we're missing the second one. That's the condition. When we select the entire canvas with Ctrl-A, we now have two elements and this entire region lights up. Not all of it, because for this other part we need at least three elements selected. Notice we don't have two different layers. A selection is considered an element too. So Photoshop shows us the available options since the main condition of having at least two elements selected is met. If you click and observe each icon, you'll immediately understand what they do. The first icon moves your layer to the top of the canvas. The second one moves it in the middle of the canvas vertically. And the last ones put it at the bottom. If we have these two shapes selected instead of one shape and one selection, look what happens. If I use the first icon, which is align top edges, the rectangle that's above the other one will be used as a reference point. Same thing applies to align bottom edges. The one that's at the bottom will be kept as is and the other one will be moved. Regarding align vertical centers, both layers will be moved equally. You can easily explore all the icons by simply moving the layers around and clicking again. If you don't see this panel, remember you need to be on the Move tool. Moving on to distribute vertical centers, we need to have three elements selected. So I'll reveal my third layer from this panel. This allows you to stack your three layers, but keep the same distance between them on the y-axis, or vertically. See how they're equally spaced out between themselves? This is helpful in all sorts of situations. Same thing when we move over to distribute horizontal centers. This gives us the same space on the x-axis. You can repeat that a few times until you get the hang of it. I know this seems like a lot of tools, but their icons really tell their story. Plus, if you get it wrong, just undo with Ctrl-Z and try again. You'll get them in no time. We're not done with these alignment tools, but let me take this opportunity to show you another helpful feature. While you have one layer selected, hold down the Ctrl or Command key. This will show you the distance between your layer and the edges of your canvas. This enables you to have pixel-perfect precision. Plus, if you hover over another layer, you'll get the measurements between the two. This is absolutely fantastic. With it, you can check the efficiency of these alignment commands. Let's check it out vertically. As you can see, it's very precise. Now let's see it in action horizontally. Feel free to hover over several layers as well as the canvas itself so you get your bearings. This is a great feature I personally use all the time. Some other important things to know. Say we have these two shapes positioned exactly as we want them, except we need them in the exact middle of the canvas. If we have them both selected and press Align Horizontal Centers, they'll center among themselves. If I have both layers selected and we select the entire canvas with Ctrl A, and then hit the same Align Horizontal Centers, the shapes will be in the center of the canvas, but they'll lose their previous positioning. To make sure you keep them as they are, you have to first group the two layers with Ctrl G. Now you have two things selected, the canvas and the group. Use Align Horizontal Centers, and there you go. Make sure you really understand what I just did. This is a major point you have to get before you move forward. That's the basics of the alignment tools. They're very useful in every single project you make, so make sure you fully understand them before moving forward. So when you need to place several layers smack bang in the middle of the canvas, you first need to group them. Otherwise, the shapes will reposition among themselves as you see here. That's because Photoshop considers them two individual layers, which they actually are if you look at the Layers panel. But if you group them, this changes everything. Press Ctrl A to select the entire canvas too. Photoshop now sees two things. This group is one element and your selection is the second one. Now these tools work as expected. Okay, this wraps up this lecture. Please practice and see how well you do. I've used shapes because it's easier to get, but this skill comes in handy when you want to work with images or other graphical elements. Have fun!